I lost 65 pounds and maintained it for well over a decade. Then pregnancy changed everything. When I had to lose it again, I didn't start over. I came back to these 5 rules. And before we get into it, because so many of you asked from the last video, my husband is doing better. He is not out of the woods yet, but he is moving in the right direction. And for that, I am incredibly grateful. Thank you to everyone who reached out. I truly appreciated all of your messages and your support. I'll come back to that later because this week ended up proving one of those rules in real time. If you're new here, I'm Sarah. I'm a personal trainer and nutrition and health coach, but long before I came either of those things, I lost 65 pounds naturally. I was in my early 20s and I maintained that weight loss for well over a decade. Then I got pregnant, my body changed, my weight changed, and my strength changed. Now I'm almost 2.5 years postpartum. The first year and a half postpartum was really about readjusting. Just sleep was all over the place. I was breastfeeding. Then I was trying to figure out why I felt so depleted all of the time. My body didn't feel like mine yet, and trying to force some perfectly structured fitness and nutrition routine into that season just wasn't realistic. Over roughly the past year, I have finally been able to build something much more consistent with my workouts and nutrition while dealing with setbacks like rib injuries and just having to adjust around what my body can actually tolerate. So this rebuild has not been one straight line. And there's another piece of important context here. I've never personally taken a GLP-1 medication, but I do work with people who use those medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound. So when I talk about GLP-1 nutrition, I'm talking as a coach, not pretending I've personally had that experience. And the thing I keep coming back to, whether someone is losing weight naturally or with medication support, is this: what habits are you building that still makes sense when life changes? Because I don't diet anymore. I stopped dieting after going through therapy for disordered eating, and that experience completely changed the way I approach food. What I do now isn't a temporary plan I go on and off of. This is my lifestyle. I focus on nourishing my body with mostly nutrient-dense foods while still making room for those less nutrient-dense foods that I enjoy and the life I actually live. And these are the 5 rules that shape the way I lost 65 pounds and still shape the way I eat today. Some of them look different now because I look at nutrition very differently at 37 years old than what I did in my early 20s. Rule number 1. Calories still matter. When I originally lost 65 pounds, calories were probably the thing I paid the most attention to. But I want to clarify something. When I say I was focused on eating less, I don't mean I was starving myself. I wasn't eating 800 calories a day. I wasn't trying to see how little food I could survive on. I was generally eating somewhere around 1450 to 1500 calories every day. That was the range I was working within for weight loss. And honestly, at that age, I could pretty much say, okay, I've got 1500 calories today. What do I want to eat? As long as I stayed reasonably within that range, I could lose weight. I didn't care much about my macros. I wasn't asking how much protein should I have today? Did I get enough fiber? That really wasn't where my brain was. I was younger, my body was different, my goals were different. And apparently, Sarah in her early 20s could fit cheese and wine into her calorie range and be like, yep, looks good. But the current version of myself can't quite operate that way. Today, I usually average about 1500 to 1700 calories depending on what I'm doing. Calories still matter, but now I'm paying much more attention to what makes up those calories. Because my goal isn't simply lose weight. My goal is to lose body fat while maintaining or even increasing my muscle mass. And those are not exactly the same goals. My DEXA scans made that really obvious to me. In September 2025, my DEXA gave me a very clear baseline. Then I went back 6 months later, and the result I cared about wasn't simply the scale went down. It was body fat went down while I maintained muscle. That's the outcome I'm after now. And to do that, I can't just look at a calorie number and say, well, technically it fits. At this stage of my life, the composition of those calories matters much more to me. And if you like weight loss conversations that go beyond just eat less, move more, hit subscribe, because I talk a lot about what this actually looks like when you factor in pregnancy, postpartum, aging, body composition, real life. and maintaining those results. Rule number 2, most of my food needs to nourish me. This one has always been part of my lifestyle, but what I pay attention to within it has definitely evolved. Most of the time, I want the food I'm eating to actually give my body something. It doesn't mean every food has to be the world's healthiest food. It doesn't mean that I'm eating broccoli, chicken, and rice out of Tupperware containers 7 days a week. It means most of what I eat is nutrient dense. And now, 2 of the biggest things I'm intentionally looking for are protein and fiber. I usually aim for around 120 grams of protein and at least 25 grams of fiber. Again, that is current Sarah. That is not 22-year-old Sarah. Back then, I could lose weight without paying much attention to either one. Now, if my goal is fat loss while maintaining muscle, protein matters to me. If I want meals that are satisfying and include plenty of fruits, vegetables, beans, whole grains, and other nutrient-dense foods, fiber matters to me. Now, I look at a meal and think, where's my protein? Where's my fiber? And that has actually made nutrition easier for me. Sometimes I meal prep, sometimes I have a beautiful plan, and sometimes I'm standing in front of the refrigerator going, what can I make out of this? But I can still fall back on that basic framework. And that's one reason I was able to have a month where I went on vacation, got sick, ate burgers and fries, drank ginger ale, missed workouts, pulled an all-nighter, barely went to the gym, and still lost 7.4 pounds. I wasn't eating perfectly, I was returning to my normal lifestyle whenever I had the opportunity. Mostly nutrient-dense foods, enough protein, enough fiber, and room for everything else. Rule number 3, I eat before I'm ridiculously hungry. Now this is something I did when I originally lost the weight that I still do today. I eat relatively frequently because I know myself and I know what happens when I wait too long to eat. There's normal hungry Sarah, and then there's standing in the kitchen eating while I decide what I'm going to eat Sarah. I don't want her running the show. Even when I originally lost the 65 pounds, I wasn't trying to white knuckle my way through the day without eating. I ate regularly, and that helped keep me from getting to a point where hunger completely took over. I still do that now because for me, sustainable weight loss has never meant let's see how long we can go without food. I want to fuel my body, and I want to make decisions about food before I'm so hungry that I don't care what the decision is. I've also learned that not every urge to eat means the same thing. Sometimes I'm genuinely hungry. Sometimes my meal didn't have enough protein or fiber. Sometimes I've been working until 2 or 3 in the morning. I've already eaten plenty and now I'm just exhausted. At that point, sometimes I need a snack. And sometimes I just need to close the laptop and go to bed. That's where mindful eating comes in for me. Instead of immediately judging myself for being hungry or immediately responding to every urge to eat, I can ask, what does my body actually need right now? Rule number 4, food doesn't decide whether I was good. This one runs a lot deeper for me than just saying don't label foods as good or bad, because I actually had to unlearn that. I went to therapy for disordered eating, and that experience changed the way I think about food, dieting, and what it means to take care of my body. I don't want food to feel like a test I'm taking all day. I don't want to look at something I ate and decide it means I was good or bad. Food is food. And a really simple example of what that looks like now recently happened with my daughter. We went out for ice cream, she's 2.5. I got a kitty cone and we shared it. I had a few bites, it was delicious, and I was satisfied. That's it. I didn't need the biggest size because we were getting ice cream, and I also didn't need to skip it because I have body composition goals. I wanted some ice cream, I ate some ice cream, I enjoyed it. And when I was satisfied, I was done. That's what food neutrality looks like for me now. It's not, I can never have this, and it's also not, I'm eating this, so I might as well eat as much as possible because tomorrow I'm going back to being good. There's no drama around it. And honestly, being able to share an ice cream with my daughter and just enjoy the moment, that's the life I actually want. I don't want her growing up watching me treat food as something I have to fear or earn. I want food to be part of my life without running my life. I still eat burgers, I still eat fries, I eat ice cream, I go on vacation, I go to restaurants, because what I'm doing now isn't a temporary plan I'm trying to survive. This is my life, and that leads directly into rule number 5. Rule number 5, Your maintenance plan starts on day 1. This is probably the biggest rule of the entire video. I don't separate weight loss from maintenance as much as people sometimes do. Because if I'm doing something to lose weight that I already know I'm unwilling to continue in some form afterwards, what exactly is the plan? I lost 65 pounds and I maintained that loss for well over a decade. And I didn't maintain it because I stayed in weight loss mode for 14 years. I built a lifestyle. Then pregnancy changed my body. And the first year and a half postpartum was really about survival and adjustment. Sleep was irregular, I was breastfeeding, and I was trying to understand why I felt so depleted all of the time. My routine was inconsistent because my life was inconsistent. I think that's important to say because sometimes we act like postpartum is this 6-week period where you're recovering and then everything goes back to normal. That wasn't my experience. It took time. Then over roughly the past year, things became more predictable. I was able to build a more consistent workout routine, a more consistent nutrition routine. I could start focusing more deliberately on body composition. And even then, I've had to navigate rib injuries and adjust my training around what my body would allow me to do. So even the consistent year hasn't been perfectly consistent. That's real life. And that's why this rule matters so much. Eventually, the routine gets disrupted. Kids get sick, you travel, work explodes, you get injured, you have holidays, you have babies, or your husband has a medical emergency, and suddenly the week you planned is gone. This past week, perfect nutrition wasn't my priority. My husband was. My family was. And this is what I meant earlier when I said this week proved one of these rules in real time. Sustainable doesn't mean nothing ever knocks you out of your routine. It means getting knocked out of your routine doesn't make you abandon everything you've built. That's a huge difference. I don't need to be on a diet to come back to my habits. There is nothing to restart. This is just how I live. And sometimes living this way looks incredibly consistent. Other times, it looks like doing the basics while something much more important needs my attention. Both count. And if this is exactly where you struggle knowing what to do when your normal routine disappears, I actually made my out of routine workout guide for that exact reason. It's there for travel, busy weeks, chaotic schedules, or the times when your normal gym routine just isn't happening. I'll link it in the description below so you can download it. And when I look back at losing 65 pounds in my early 20s compared to losing body fat now, the fundamentals really haven't changed as much as you might think. But I have. At 22, I could focus heavily on calories. At 37, calories still matter, but now I'm also thinking about protein, fiber, muscle, strength, recovery, and body composition. And after therapy for disordered eating, I'm much more aware of how I want food to fit into my life mentally, not just physically. That's not me abandoning what worked. That's me adapting it. And that's what I think a healthy lifestyle should do. I don't need another Monday. I don't need another January 1st. I don't need to punish myself for a meal. And I don't need another day 1. I need the next reasonable choice. That's something I've gotten really good at over the years. Returning. So my 5 rules are: pay attention to calories without starving yourself. Make most of your food nutrient dense and adjust the details as your body and goals change. Eat before you are ridiculously hungry. Stop assigning morality to food and build your weight loss habits around the life you actually plan to keep living. That's how I lost 65 pounds. It's how I maintain that loss for over a decade. And it's the same foundation I'm using now to lose the weight I have gained through pregnancy and rebuild my body postpartum. The details have evolved, the lifestyle has evolved with me. If you're working on weight loss right now, whether you're doing it naturally, postpartum, or using a GLP-1 like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Zepbound, I want to know which of these 5 rules is hardest for you right now. Put the number in the comments and tell me why. And if you want realistic conversations about weight loss, body recomposition, postpartum fitness, protein, fiber, mindful eating, GLP-1 nutrition support, and building a healthier lifestyle without turning your entire life into a diet, make sure you subscribe. Stay strong, bold, and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.